Welcome everyone who's watching on YouTube, everyone who stayed around through break on Twitch. Hello, my heart rate has finally come down from one of the most intense gaming with guest sessions we've had so far. Camille, how you doing?
Hey, I'm also going to throw up, but I feel great. Other than that, it was iconic, I feel.
You earned it.
Hell
Newly
yeah.
minted Folkwise Smash Bros. Champion.
Yeah,
Oh.
truly.
Where were you when we were playing at AF? What year were we playing at AFS?
When did you play?
Tulsa?
Tulsa 2 years ago.
You know, I was there, but I was also working at the online working at the same time.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
so I didn't get to do anything.
Yeah, in the Folkwise game room, we had Smash going.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It was
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Was there a championship? Did somebody win?
Yes.
Or
was Abraham.
It was Abraham who was
from
like
New Jersey.
from New Jersey.
He was from New Jersey.
Yeah,
he was like a high schooler who was there on behalf of a folklorist who was doing an oral history project or something, or like voice or something like that.
He was like narrating.
He was like a narrator.
Yeah,
like he was like part of the production or something of that project, which is super cool. So yeah, he just came in out of nowhere and just destroyed us.
Macked.
Yeah, he was pretty intense. I think I held off William and Silas Alvarez, but yeah, Abraham was too much for me.
Yeah. That sounds iconic. Do you remember their main? Who they were playing as? Or what did they switch it up?
I think they switched it up, but maybe
something cool.
Cloud? I think it was Cloud.
Someone cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone cool.
Sick.
Someone with
cool
Mario? Some cool street cred.
That's even more. I feel like, you know how people say
don't admit that
Kirby defeating you is embarrassing. I feel like Mario defeating you is like painful.
If you're good, if you beat someone with Mario, you're just like, look, I'm just better in this game than you. Yeah.
At everything.
It's like beating you with vanilla ice cream. Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were gonna stop at vanilla ice, and I was like, oh, does he play?
Oh my god, vanilla ice cream. I just got that. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Camille, are you ready to be interviewed?
You know what? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Daisy, you want to kick us off in our traditional and final one of 2023?
Yes. Maybe I'll make this. I don't know off the top of my head how many people we've interviewed in 2023.
I know that we've interviewed less than the previous years.
Less than the previous years, but also we've interviewed definitely over 100 people on this channel.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah. So
incredible.
What I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to draw attention to, is that it's not, you see me and Dom, and we're in a lot of the videos, and we're playing the games, and we ask questions, and blah blah blah. And sometimes it's Shirley, and sometimes it's somebody else who's in here or whatever. Mm-hmm. But really, what I'm trying to say is that you might see the people on screen, and those people are great. And we do stuff. But what you don't see is a whole group of behind the scenes people who actually make our show happen, who we affectionately call the interview sleuths, the sleuthing team. So if you hear a question that you like, that you think is funny, or that Camille laughs about, or whatever, don't think Dom and Daisy. Think the sleuthing team, who are, as always, never to use their powers for evil, to carry us out in the final episode of 2023 and to take us into 2024. The sleuths are really like what make this show the quality that it is, and at least in terms of the interview. So thank you, sleuthing team.
I'm actually counting.
Oh yeah, you're counting. I was like, what did I say? I wonder. Yeah, what are we at? Like, it's got to be like 30 or something. Because
Camille is 32.
No way! Oh my god, that's a good guess. Because I was like, if there's 52 weeks in a year, and I was like, we missed a bunch in the summer. So,
and I just want to say, as someone who plays fighting games, nothing I love more than a pool of people that is divisible by 4. You can make a bracket out of that.
It writes itself.
Maybe do a competitive round robin as we did earlier.
Wink, wink. YG Awards.
Hey. Oh yeah, that's true.
Coming up in February.
YZ
Wink,
Awards
wink.
bracket. YZ Awards deathmatch bracket.
Oh my god,
so terrifying.
That's too terrifying.
Speaking of terrifying,
powerful entities on that list. Yes.
Speaking of terrifying, you want to get into some monsters?
All day.
All right,
Oh,
Camille.
yeah.
Our first question for you: How how does your family influence your work as a scholar of legends?
Oh. Oh man, how do they not? I think would be the better question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the beautiful thing, right? Obviously, you all are folklore geeks just like I am. And the beautiful thing about folklore is we all have it. And it's one of those beautifully unique things that like transcends borders and, beats them down. And it shows how similar we all really are. And I don't know, I feel like legendary in that way. It really shows you also how powerful and tough your ancestry is and that you can get through some of the toughest shit you wouldn't otherwise without your family, right? And like um I'm Chicana, I'm Mexican American, and my dad was born in Parral, Chihuahua, Mexico, and immigrated here. And I feel like there's just already so much cultural folklore in that, and so much cultural context that is so brilliant and beautiful, but also so complicated and hard and difficult. And my mom, also Chicana, she was born in El Paso though, and she had great grandparents that lived in Mexico. And I don't know, I mean, it's so beautiful and vibrant, the stories and the traditions that we have, right? But I think something interesting, I always love talking about this. It's one of my favorite topics. People don't realize that generational trauma is folklore too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's passed down to you and intentionally sometimes, unintentionally others. And that can be really scary and terrifying. But at the same time, I think it makes you who you are. It makes you stronger in a lot of ways. It can give you really hard days, but it makes a good story at the end of the day, you know? So I don't know. My family, I do everything. For every freaking thing in the world for them. Even that Kirby game, even that Super Smash championship we
And you
just did.
absolutely owning Dom at Smash is in honor
Oh
of the
my God.
ancestors.
I can only imagine my Mexican ancestors just shaking
Being
their
like,
head in sadness
Ancestor.
of like,
Okay.
like Kirby, really?
one of
Like,
the ancestors.
but I stand by it. I stand
Yeah.
by it.
Yeah, my ancestors
Wholeheartedly.
didn't cram onto a boat to cross the Atlantic for me to lose to a Kirby.
Literally. Like, what was it all for? You know? But I love my family. I think that was a beautiful question.
Is there like a piece of family folklore that's like your origin story as a folklorist?
Oh man. What a good question. Well, growing up Mexican American, my dad has always and forever been a huge horror buff. Like loves horror, loves scary stories to the day is long. That's his thing. And I feel like I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm almost positive most Chicanos and Chicanas and Mexican individuals alike grew up with not like, Mary had a little lamb, but we grew up with La Llorona and El Chupacabra and the really terrifying, terrifying monster stories right before bed. Um, and I
Please don't leave
remember
the house. You'll never come back. Kind of
oh, yeah.
stories. Yeah.
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 Like, I want you to really sink that in at 6 years old. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? When you don't
Yeah.
even know what fear is yet. You're just like, oh, that's unsettling. Anyway, good night. You know what I mean? And my dad always used to tell me and my brother those stories all of the time. And, growing up, I actually, never knew that folklore was my passion in that way for a while. I think a lot of us like serendipitously discover it or it finds us, and you realize how beautiful it's always been and how much you've loved it and found such safety in it. When I was a kid, I thought it was just a scary story, and then I grew up and became a folklorist, and I was like, this is so much more about communication and family and making sure to tell each other I love you through the guise of a metaphor, right? And so gosh, I don't know. I feel like those were super formative for me. I feel like just those simple little scary stories, I never knew they would be so much more than that.
Well,
I
Camille. Oh, sorry. Go, Daisy,
So,
because Camille's
it
setting
just-
herself up perfectly for the next question, isn't she?
Oh,
You
jeez.
you definitely are, and I don't want to detract from that, but just add to it
Yeah.
in the sense
Yeah.
that, like, I think that there are also a lot of folklorists who like heard stories when they were little kids, and then were like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, I could study that thing that I didn't realize was important." And like whether
Yes.
it's you know, like Disney fairy tales or Hans Christian Andersen, or it's like, you know, La Llorona, or
Yeah.
you know, whoever that, Chupacabra or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
there's so many. It's like the stories like come back, and we like get to say like, oh, that's meaning. That meant something. It's so
That meant
cool. Yeah,
something.
it's so cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Camille, next question
So dumb.
here, swear to God, is what insight does La Llorona provide in relation to Latinx mental health and emotionality?
Oh,
What were you just
what a
saying?
loaded question. What a loaded question. Ugh, well, La
Sleuths.
Llorona's my girl, man. So thank you, sleuths. Thank you so much.
Yes, La Llorona is so good.
Always
Yeah,
and
she's our girl.
forever. I don't know if there's anyone who's never heard of the legend, maybe.
Could be.
There could be.
Yeah.
And there's many different variations and versions, but at its core, right, it's about this woman in Mexico a long, long time ago, and she was betrayed by the love of her life, and out of a fit of rage and heartbreak and anger and confusion and jealousy, she ended up taking the lives of her two children in the river and then took her own life. And the legend goes, right, that like she haunts the waterways, the rivers, anywhere where there's water, in search of those children to call her own, right? So when we were told, you know, this story as a kid, it was like, you better be inside, you know, before it gets dark, or else La Llorona's gonna get your ass. And it was so frightening. You were like, yep, never, I'm never leaving the house ever again, you know? And you know, when I fell into this world of folklore and I was doing my master's thesis, I was trying to figure out what to do. And just like this question that you all asked about, like, what sparked your love for folklore, I was like, let's go back to those roots. And I remembered La Llorona, and I was like, I would love to do some family ethnography. I would love to just interview people on La Llorona. I was like, let's just start there. And I think I did a lot of multiple interviews for each person for a lot of reasons that I'll get into, but I think one of the first people I interviewed was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, for those of you who don't know, shout out, Tata. I love my dad. He's painfully shy. Like, oh my goodness, he is the shyest little bean. He like does not want to be seen at all, but he loves a book. He loves escapism. That's kind of where he finds his safety and his solace, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Horror films, etc., if you will.
100%, exactly. And so I asked him, and at this moment, right, it was 2020, we were knee deep in the pandemic, and I asked him if I could interview him, and basically I interviewed him on Zoom, but he still didn't want to be seen, so he called me on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just recorded it on Zoom with him on the phone. And, you know, we started talking about La Llorona, and it was actually the first time ever I had ever talked to my dad about La Llorona in general. I had never been like, hey, remember that story you used to tell us? And it turns out, as we were talking and as we were getting deeper into it, my dad started to talk to me about his brain and about things that are difficult in your brain, like many of us feel. And again, I only speak for myself, but in my Mexican American household, mental health was not a thing. You don't have the privilege to have mental health, right? Like, you don't have the resources, let alone have the language of like what that means to have a broken brain. So I was kind of freaking out, like on the other side of this Zoom talking to my dad. And he admitted such beautifully sad, but also brilliant pieces of why La Llorona is so important. And the big thing there, right, is that so many immigrant children, but also just so many BIPOC individuals alike relate to monsters because it's all they have. To be seen as someone sad, as someone broken, as someone crazy, as someone ostracized, right? It's like, finally I get it. Finally I see somebody like me doing the things that I'm so afraid of. And that might seem so simple as like crying, right? But that is so complicated and so hard to do. And in that moment, I was like, oh, bet, like we are interviewing everyone we can and seeing what she means to you. And little did I know that we weren't talking about Llorona after a while with all these people. We were talking about ourselves and like what we fear the most, because that's so vulnerable. So she's my girl. I love her. I love her so much. And like I know she's scary, right? Absolutely. But she gave me so much hope, and she gave my dad so much hope, and so many others. And yeah, that's kind of how that worked.
That's so cool. I mean, mental health is scary. Feeling out of control is scary. Like having a horrible thing happen to you and not knowing how to react is scary. And sometimes you make the wrong choice because, you know, in hindsight or whatever, because you're scared or things are, you know, unmanageable. And like it makes sense to metaphorically talk about it in a story. Like that's really cool. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Well, on that note, Daisy, about metaphorically talking about it in a story, I feel like we should ask this next question.
Okay.
And that is,
all right.
So Camille, Floaties for Krakens, your podcast. At time of recording, there's 13 episodes, more to come. What have you learned so far about how monsters influence the lives of others?
Ooh. Great question. Oh, man. I mean, I think there are just so many parts of this question in this answer. Number one, I think like at its face value, and the reason I started the show in the first place is because I love geeking out with other people about monsters. I love seeing who they love. And I think that's why we're all folklorists, right? We love hearing about what people do and what they love. And what may seem monotonous or silly or different to other people is so fascinating to us. And I love seeing people come into this show and be like, this character, man, is my life. Like it was my childhood, or I discovered it in a point in my life that was really hard or really complicated. Right. And it has been so lovely just to like talk about that stuff factually. But at the same time, and again, this wasn't really necessarily the intent, of course, of like, let's talk about our brains, but inherently it just happens every single time, right? And I find it so beautiful that you can't talk about a monster without talking about yourself. And it's been great. It's been so much fun. And I think the cool thing too about the show, and granted, I know a lot of stuff before anybody else does right now in the public in terms of the show, of the episodes that are coming up and the season that's coming up, but there are some really interesting takes on monstrosity and the definition of monster. And you'll find that some people really love them and some people really don't. And I think that's what's so cool about them. But I don't know, it just kind of brings us back to our humanness. And I think that's why I love the show so much. I love it so much.
Being able to like self-identify a monster that you want to talk to another person about is such an interesting way to get them to talk about, to get a person to talk about themselves, because you just don't, it's just not that common that you talk about monsters, number one. I mean, folklorists, I don't know, maybe we're a little different, but like that in general. And then usually you would think that the monsters are the other, but what you're finding, or at least what I'm hearing that you're finding and what I've listened to you're finding, is like the monster is the self. It's not, there isn't, the other is in you. It's your own othering. Or there's something, maybe not for every guest you've had on the show, but for some people it's like you think you're going to talk about the monster, but it's the monster is in us. It's the other in the self, which is like so cool and interesting.
It is. And you're absolutely right, Daisy. And I think it also can get so vulnerable and so terrifying, right? And it's one of those things too, and I'm sure you guys feel it, it's very vulnerable to interview people, for yourself too. There's just lot that
I mean, it helps
online.
And it helps that we're connecting it to folklore. But what is folklore? The stuff that makes us people and the stuff we've chosen to spend our passions and time and investment into. It's not like an easy thing to ask somebody about the thing that they've spent years and hours and money, to invest in, whatever level of that investment is. Like it has to be personal at some point. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
It's vulnerable. It's a vulnerable on both ends in different ways. Yeah.
100%. And I don't know if you all have ever felt this way, but sometimes I get real scared, like having that platform. I think it can be intimidating because you want to make sure they go through this stuff safely and they talk about this stuff safely and aren't triggered and are in a safe space and in a ready place to talk about this stuff. But at the same time, like I think about your all's show, right? That has been not only so transformative for folklore in general in the field, but like for people. Because this platform, this medium, right, can be so jarring but so safe at the same time. This interconnectality that we have with technology, we don't realize how safe it can be. Because it's a screen. It's a screen at the end of the day, right? But at the same time, we're connecting with so many more people we never thought we possibly could have, and learning so many different other pieces of folklore that we have now the privilege of knowing, right? But like,
oh my
it's
God,
complicated.
I like thinking about this in terms of like, I don't know, family, community, mental health, or whatever as a show. Like one of my biggest takeaways from having a folklore podcast is that I know so much deep lore about our community. Like we get like the meta folklore of the stories that helped people become who they are appear in accident, sometimes on purpose and sometimes on accident on our show. And like, we can talk about all kinds of stuff. I think like you get to connect with a person in such like a special, vulnerable way that, and you can tell like when people have been interviewed a bunch or they've never been interviewed, and like it means different things to people. And then asking them about like, not just like, oh yeah, you wrote this book, tell me about your book. Like that's not a bad question, but we get to something I like to think a little bit deeper than that. At the same time, we get to ask those other questions too, which is like, I don't know, I feel like I go to the American Folklore Society conference and I'm like, damn, I know a lot of shit about all you people. Like that's like a really special kind of knowledge. Like, and that it has been freely given, and joyfully given to people who inquire, and you just don't have a lot of contexts where you get to do that in such a special way. So I'm glad to hear that a similar thing is happening to you, and maybe in another context on your show where you get to dive even deeper into like, what does it mean to have a psyche? I don't know. You get to go into the 100%. Mental, like, what does it mean to experience like the folklore to the self, as opposed to like necessarily your work or these other things. Like, all that's cool, but yeah, that's very, very special. Yeah.
What a great point. And I think too, right, like adding on to that wonderful point is like academia can be such a terrifying, isolating thing. And the one thing I liked about your show always, right, is this idea that you put these like, I think in our own minds we put academics at like this really high standard of like unobtainability. They're so scary and so smart, and oh my gosh, I could never be that or talk to them about that. And you guys show us how human they all really are, and like, oh, I relate to that, or oh, I like what they like, I've read what they like, or anything like that. And that's so important and so necessary, I think, for anybody entering the academic field, because we all feel imposter syndrome at one point or the other in life, right? And so I think it's cool that you get those really interesting stories that maybe would have never been told before. It's important for your viewership too, I think.
Hope so.
Cool. I think
someday.
So. Thank you, Camille.
Yeah, thanks. Jeez.
don't
We're supposed to be asking you questions.
Also,
like,
don't give the game away. Yeah.
Hey. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. No, that's really special. I mean, yeah, I hope anybody who documents the lore of folklorists, that is taken seriously by the community and ends up in places that make it joyful for us throughout history, as time moves on. But
absolutely.
Yeah. could got one more serious-ish question for
Yeah,
you.
let's get into it. Let's get
Let's
into
get
it.
into it.
All
Let's
right,
get
all
into
right,
this
all
one.
right.
Let's get into it.
Camille, what was it about the Kentucky Folklife program that brought you back to Bowling Green?
What a good question as well. Look at these. Man. Well, it's funny. Like, I think even if you've never been to the two places, Kentucky is vastly different from El Paso. Night and day different, some might say. And I don't know, when I was going to school, right, I didn't realize that I was a minority at all. Because again, you're surrounded by people that look like you and sound like you and have the similar traditions. And I went to undergrad in Kentucky in 2015. And I was doing speech and debate. That's how I got into Kentucky in the first place. And it felt very scary, to be truthful. It felt very isolating, just because you're different, and not a lot of people are like you. And if I'm honest, when I was there, and that was around the time of the election, a really, really hard election. And it was very scary. It was, just to say the least, it was very scary living there. And throughout all of this terrifying stuff, you find the people that care about you so deeply on a human level that make you feel not only that you matter, but like that your research and the stuff that you're passionate about matter too. And throughout my years there, right, and I fell into the folklore program, and I met such brilliant professors and colleagues that made me feel like what I had to say was necessary and important, even if only for myself, that it was worth talking about. And I never forgot that. Like, that is something, when somebody sees you anyway, in any way, man, like you never forget that feeling, ever. Like, my story is important, you know what I mean? And I never forgot that. And I bounced around after undergrad, and I was working a bunch of different places in a bunch of different states. And things were rough, and I always remembered that I had a place there. And I was like, no, I gotta do my master's. I have to. I'm doing folklore. This is it. This is my life now. So I did my master's, and I had the best time, but also the most complicated time during the pandemic. It was hard. It was really hard. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
But I think, to your question, Sleuths and Dom, I feel like in those really hard times, again, you find out that there are programs and people in those programs that have been so transformative to not only your journey, but the community's journey. And they fight so damn hard for, like, people that don't have voices, or people who haven't been given the opportunity to have one. And I always remember that the Kentucky Folklife program, since we worked adjacent, for those of you that may not know, with the WKU Folk Studies program, they were always doing such brilliant work with such brilliant people, and giving them ways and pathways to not only talk about the things that make them happy, but that change the world. And I was like, God, like I want to be a part of that. Like, that sounds amazing. That sounds brilliant. And so I never really left. I think it's really funny in that way, that truthfully, a place that can maybe feel scary, maybe feel not like home. Sometimes those are the perfect places, the perfect storms to build one, and to defy all that anger and all that stupidity and all that meanness, and just be like, no, I exist, and we're going to keep existing. And I feel like the Folk Life program does that really beautifully.
Damn. Okay, that was an amazing answer.
Yeah, I was like, damn, put the pin in that. That was really good. Hell yeah. Aw, yeah, shout out to WKU fam, for real. Like, I know. I don't exactly know what the current situation in the department program is, but I know that there are some amazing people who have not only taught there, but have participated in the program in over the years, and they're always just, what if you think of like some top folklorists a handful of them definitely got a degree at WKU at some point, and it shows. I think that their just love for people, their connection with people, I think it shows more than at other schools. I don't know what that is, but you can kind of tell. It's cool. Special place.
Thank you. And on that note too, folklore matters, people.
Yes.
Folklore
Oh my
programs
god.
matter, and they should be funded. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. we made a statement. What was it? A year or two? Oh god, was it 2 years ago at this point?
I know,
Jesus
man.
Christ!
I know.
It might have been almost. I think, if not officially, but yeah, because it's just so important to have folklore programs funded, like just across the board. Like there should be more being funded. They're not. They're not willy-nilly, they're just because they're abstract. Just because folklore can be abstract does not mean it is worth not studying, because people have a hard time wrapping their head around it. Some of the most important questions I think of our time are, obviously I'm biased, but questions about like, what is knowledge, what is belief, what is, how does this kind of random stuff influence elections, what's tradition? Like all of these are questions that are like at front and center in American life.
Exactly.
And it's like, how could you cut a program that's dealing with those exact questions? Dude. But whatever.
I ask myself that question every day. It is so confusing and so, oh man, I don't know. I can't put it into words, but they're important.
Well, we have some fuzzy questions.
Yeah, you want to get into those?
I think it might be.
Let's do it.
Time to get into those.
Okay, Camille, first off, what's your favorite thing that you've watched on Tubi other than Scariest Monsters in America?
Oh no! I feel like I'm gonna be exposed in this moment, and I feel like it is so narcissistic to say I've only ever seen.
No, it's not. I think you got a lot of shit going on, okay?
Saw X.
Yeah. Saw X, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you saw X. Yeah,
Saw X. You saw the Hellraiser remake from 2 years ago.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah. Come on.
A new
exactly.
mid-budget horror movie every Tuesday, right?
Every Tuesday. That's right. Tubi's great though. It's free.
Yeah.
So
and you're on there.
I am, and I have had such a brilliant opportunity, and it's fun, man. Tubi is fun. It's a good time. It's a really good time.
I dropped a link to the trailer for Scariest Monsters in America, so people can check out the trailer and check out your IMDb page.
Yeah,
if they
want.
Now
have.
That's a
which you now have
page, kid.
Talking head. Talking head.
Yeah,
over here.
talking head. Very cool.
Oh,
very cool.
Louise.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
You're like, I don't know.
Thank you, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
When you get that SAG card.
Yeah.
I just feel like IMDb pages are so intense, I feel like, and also anybody can edit them, really.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's true.
A lot of pressure.
This is a part of my backstory I don't think I've discussed on the internet, but I used to be very active in the IMDb forums back in the day, and yeah, anyone can do anything on that website.
See?
That's awesome.
Well, shout out Tubi, you're great.
Yeah.
Tubi, if you're listening.
Tubi, if you're listening. If you're listening and you want to pick up a show or something, I don't know. Hello, Tubi.
Hello.
So, Camille, you've started talking about this already because you are a survivor, one of the many survivors of the Theater Kid to Folklorist pipeline. But I want to know what speech and debate skill do you use the most as a folklorist?
Whoa. Damn, that's a good question. You know what's funny? For those normal people who didn't do speech,
could never,
sane people, it probably sounds like such a foreign thing, but like one of my favorite events in speech and debate was called Programmed Oral Interpretation, and it's this cool event where basically you're making an argument, like a singular thread of an argument, but incorporating any and all media you possibly can to make this linear narrative.
Oh yeah.
right? So it's wild. Like it's like a puzzle, right? You put it all together to try to show people different perspectives and like put your empathy shoes on and make this statement, right? Fight for something important. And I feel like that specific skill of like putting on different hats and exploring people's narratives through different lenses and different perspectives really helped me
Yeah.
in the folklore world, because it just gives you that ability to shut up sometimes. It gives you that ability to listen, to like thoroughly engage with people without trying to put your voice over everything. You feel me? And I always felt like that was super important and impactful, and that's always something that I live by, is, you know, walk in other people's shoes for a second. And I feel like that's helped a lot. It's helped a lot, putting those things into perspective.
Point of clarification. So when you're walking in someone's shoes for a second or a mile or whatever, are those the empathy shoes that you mentioned earlier?
Those are the empathy shoes.
I really
Hell
love
yeah.
the idea of the empathy shoes.
They look like Kirby's feet. In case
Oh yeah, I
anybody
was
wants
gonna
to-
say I need to know what the aesthetic is of the. It would make sense.
Yeah.
Since Kirby
those,
absorbs
they're
all.
the big
so.
red boots. Those are actually the empathy shoes.
Oh my god! The
No, the big yellow Croc shoes.
Yeah,
Those
okay.
are the
Oh.
new ones. Yeah.
The new
The
one.
big yellow
Yeah.
Crocs
Oh my god.
are yeah. Please put on the big yellow Crocs and walk a mile in my shoes, bro.
Yeah, let the
Yeah.
kill the cringe inside you. Become empathetic.
You would know if you did debate.
You would know. Yeah, you would know. That's
That's
awesome.
so angry. Oh man.
Camille, can you promo some of your upcoming merch for Floaties for Krakens yet?
Oh man. Oh, okay. So shout out first of all to my best friend Natalie Hedberg in the world. I love her to death, and she is the graphic designer for the show. How much can I reveal on this stream?
You could reveal
more,
like
more
the
people will watch it a week later on YouTube. Just think about it.
yeah.
Okay.
You could reveal a medium of merch as opposed to
Okay.
the style of the thing. Maybe that would
okay, bet. Or a
or
riddle.
not like I don't want not to pressure
Or a
you if you're like
riddle.
I actually don't want to say it or whatever. Oh, a riddle.
Okay,
riddle
I
would be
spoke too
funny.
soon. I
You're
can't
like,
just
wait, I
make
have to invent a
riddles.
riddle. I don't know. I've listened to my brother and me.
What
I feel
gets
like you can
more
kind of
empty
just
the
invent
more
a
you
riddle.
fill it? It is a
Cop-
bespoke Floaties for Krakens hole that we will dig in your backyard.
Let's just give
Yes.
all of these individuals with mental health issues already an even more difficult riddle to try to figure
Oh
out
my
this
God.
piece of merch, right?
Oh my god.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so season 2 of the show. By the way, I should probably say this. The last episode of season 1 comes out well, if you're watching this next week, sorry. But if you're watching this live, it comes out this
Oops.
Thursday.
Yay!
Yeah, it's the last episode of season 1, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal.
And there's some amazing people that you may know, people that are watching this stream, that
Whoa.
are going to be in season 2.
Whoa.
And season 2 premieres first week of February. And maybe something sticky might premiere around the same time. I don't know.
Whoa.
We'll see.
Whoa. I hope it's the fun kind.
I want to know what other kind. Do you know, Daisy?
I found bubblegum. I don't know.
Oh.
It's all chewed bubble gum. So
It was like you're giving us bubblegum sculptures. I don't know.
It's like Floaties for Krakens vodka, but like it's all
But it's
for
like a
whatever
couple
reason
days-
though, it all got on the outside of the bottle.
Yeah, so
And
it's
And so every
been a
time you
couple
go
days.
to pour it,
So
you're like, oh,
you're
what
like,
the-
oh, sticky. No,
gross.
no,
Yeah,
the
that's
good kind. The
Floaties
good
vibe.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So I hope you all are ready to get sent empty vodka bottles.
yeah.
Can I put in a request? Can I put in a request?
Please, always.
Oh my god, this you don't have to take me up on this. I'm mostly just doing it because I think it would be funny. But actual floaty? Okay, anyway, putting that out there. Big
For what kind
that's
of
the big
creature?
spendy. That's the big for I don't
perhaps
know.
a floaty for a giant squid.
Yeah, like I could put
Perhaps.
in my blow up pool in the backyard or whatever.
Damn.
Which
in
I
my
don't
above
that I
ground
don't
pool.
have.
Go to my above
My
ground pool
above
party,
ground-
brother.
That I don't have.
See,
Anyway.
that's the difficult part is having money.
Yeah, no, I
you're
know.
right. You're right.
Yes, it's like the ideas are there. You just the money has to also be there
Yes.
too.
100%. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
I get it.
I'm totally going to utilize you and give you a contract, Daisy, for that.
Oh my god,
because I
I'll
think
help
that's a great.
design. We'll do it.
What a
I
great
know
idea.
I know a guy.
Damn, Daisy's been begging just to be utilized once.
Please, anybody.
What an interesting statement, but
Tom, gross.
absolutely, Daisy. Absolutely. All day.
Hell yeah. Oh my god, we're getting so unhinged.
When are
That's
we
pretty
not?
good.
Yeah,
I mean,
on this show,
and it's about to ideally get even more.
Oh, geez.
yeah. I hope we end strong and get super unhinged. So,
Okay.
This
last
is
kind
good.
of funsy question.
Okay.
There's a quote I think you like that I want you to shed some light on. And that is,
Okay.
that's why I embrace monsters, because monsters are ultimately the patron saint of otherness. Everything people say should not be. So in what ways who said that? In what ways are monsters the patron saints of otherness?
Well, the patron saint himself, Guillermo del Toro, said that.
Yes.
We love Guillermo. I love him so much.
Oh my god.
So deeply. And for any of you who maybe have not seen any of Guillermo's movies or maybe read any of his literature or any of his work, do yourself a favor. Watch something because it's fascinating stuff. And Guillermo's ability to craft monsters, not only in just stunning, like visually stunning ways. Each monster that he makes has so many layers to them. So they're not one-sided, they're not one note. And not only just for people that geek out about monsters, but like for people in the actual realm of the story. They're given so much hope. They're given, like, you want to fight for them, you want them to win sometimes, right? And then in other cases you're like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be afraid of something like that. He digs deep into some of our subconscious to create these monsters. And I think it's beautifully said that they are the patron saint of otherness, things that we don't understand, right? The things we fear the most are the things we don't understand, I think. Unfortunately, and sometimes that can lead to a lot of hate and a lot of violence and a lot of racism and a lot of homophobia and all of the things, because people just don't, not only do they not want to understand, they're scared to, I think. And anyway, I think that quote just puts it so brilliantly, so eloquently, that there's something worth embracing and there's something worth learning about, even if they terrify you. It's worth it. It's beautiful. And I think we were talking about, like, when we were playing Smash and stuff, the core of the Latin context, right, of monsters, monstrum, this idea of a lighthouse, this idea that they are a warning sign. And it can be scary and it can be terrifying, but some of the most brilliant things you'll ever do are born in uncomfortability. And I think that's what monsters are. And I think that's what that quote means.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to cue up this next part, Daisy?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hopefully this next part won't make you too uncomfortable. Although, you never know. Let discomfort unfold as it does naturally, as in the ways of the world. But we have curated for you a tier list. Camille, have you ever made a tier list before?
No, Daisy, I haven't, I don't think.
Wonderful.
Well,
if you click watch frame if you haven't already,
okay.
a shared screen to a tier list that we have curated just for you. And for those maybe watching at home who don't know what a tier list is, basically it is a ranking system that people
look at her. Look at her right now. Oh my god.
like, this is so cute. Cute baby.
Oh my god. Okay.
Tier lists are something that come from fighting games that people used to rank character choices, but now, because it's the internet and postmodernism or whatever, people use them to rank things in everyday life. Which is folklore, everyday life. So we have curated here a list of Guillermo del Toro monster films. I mean, I don't know if there's like a non-monster film that he's made. But anyway, these are Guillermo del Toro films, and we would love for you to guide us on your tier list quest, ranking them from F to D, and then we do have a category for haven't seen if you must put something there, but you could also go on vibes alone, whatever. There's no right answer. There's no, you get to determine the criteria for evaluation, if you will. So you get to say, like, is it something like favorite, or is it I like this monster, or it could be about like the impact that you think it had, or whatever. You really get to decide what the criteria for evaluation is. It goes horizontally and vertically, so
horizontally and vertically.
Yeah, so top left is number 1.
Top left is number 1, and bottom right would be worst or whatever. And so you'll see as we move them on, and you can move them during the thing too if you want to rearrange stuff. You're not like set in stone to your first answer if you want to reshape it towards the end. But without further ado, we got some movies.
Oh man!
So how do you want to go? You want to go the way they're on this tier list? Do you want to go chronologically or what?
We can go the way that they're on the tier list. That's fine.
Okay, first off is Pinocchio.
Okay, this is rude. Oh no. Okay, I'm sweating again. Feeling the need to throw up again.
Again!
I feel like because every inch of my being wants to put them all on S tier, right? But I can't do that legally. Okay, question.
Yeah.
Question. If I put something somewhere, am I allowed to move it later?
Yes.
Great, so it's not final.
It's not final.
Okay, I'm not, Daisy, I know you and Dom were talking both about like the criteria for this. I don't have one. I think I'm just going by what makes my heart giggle.
Vibes. Go on vibes.
I'm going on vibes. I'm going to go on vibes.
Is a criteria. There you go.
Okay, then we're going on monster vibes. We're going on monster vibes. Oh, geez Louise. Okay, for now, and people are probably going to think this is a cheap shot and a way out, but I'm going to put Pinocchio, since it's the first, on A. Just
gotcha.
for right now.
Nice.
Pinocchio.
I haven't seen Pinocchio yet. I kind of want to. I love all Guillermo del Toro stuff too, so you're in good cinema company here.
It's
is it good? Seems weird. Is it good?
That's weird. I think that question itself
weird, so
is for every Guillermo movie. Is it good? Is
it
weird?
I was like, I like weird.
Yeah.
I like weird. Yeah, I like weird. Well, I don't know. I don't want to bias you by telling you which one's my favorite, but
okay.
We'll find out as we come to it. I'll ask you more questions.
That's a good question. I wonder what my favorite is. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I know what my
do
favorite
want to
is.
know.
Come on. Actually, Daisy, you should be able to tell. But
I think I know what
okay.
Anyway.
And I haven't seen all of these either, to be truthful.
Okay, got it.
That's okay.
And some of them okay, so this is going to sound
you can do it on vibes.
silly. But like every time I see a Guillermo movie, I dedicate an entire afternoon so I can cry and so that I can just really break it down.
Cute. Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, there's so much.
Anytime there's a couple when I've done like thylacine research, I've consumed a lot of Tasmanian tiger thylacine media. And whenever I watch a movie that has a thylacine in it, I am scribbling wildly all over a page every time I watch it.
Opening the notes app.
Literally just being like, what's that? Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well, Pinocchio, and I'll maybe make some commentary for each one. Pinocchio, as you said, Daisy, is it weird, right? Like, Pinocchio is something a lot of us may have seen, like, the Disney version for the first time, maybe? Like, that's when we were first open to this world. It is, the story itself at its core is such a brilliant explanation of what it's like to grow up and how complicated and scary and terrifying it is, and that the real world actually won't be kind to you at all, right? But at the same time, how beautiful the connections you have and the people you love along the way are. I think this Guillermo movie does it brilliantly. It's with stop motion. I mean, come on. The claymation is incredible. We're leaving it at A for now.
Hell yeah, I can get down with that.
Great.
All right. Next up, we got Blade 2.
Okay. Oh, I'm sweating again. I mean, there's also that sense of iconic nature. Such iconic characters in Blade. But this Blade 2.
Yeah.
It's worth noting.
Yeah, it's Blade 2, so.
Y'all, I feel like this is so hard. Okay.
You can go with your gut. If you're
I
worried
just want
about
anyone
offending
to
anybody,
be as excited about
we're
anything
coming
as
for
you are
them.
for these movies.
I know. Yeah.
Thank you for thinking that. I'm also just equally as terrified because I know all of these movies mean something to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope we all know, right? This is just my personal...
It's for you. Yes. This is your interpreted tier list for you, not like what... This is not like a value judgment upon everybody's choices. This is purely like, if you are going to sit down and this was the movies list that you could only watch for the rest of your life, in what order would you watch them? You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And which ones would you wish that we had left at home?
None, but let it be known too, I'm a huge nerd for the fantastical. With that being said, I think we're putting Blade 2 on B.
Okay.
For right now.
I like it.
Gotcha.
Just for now.
Next up is Pan's Labyrinth.
S tier.
Okay. That easy.
Shut up, that's my favorite one.
Oh, it is?
That was my favorite. Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth is my favorite. I fucking love that movie. Oh, I love everything about that movie.
It's the first movie of Guillermo's that I was ever introduced to, so I feel like...
Yeah, maybe we have like a generational...
Yeah, and mine
I
was
was like,
Blade
maybe we
too.
have like a generational thing. That's funny. Yeah, I was like, maybe that's part of it too. But
makes
it's the like the deeply moving... I don't know, story at the time of our lives we were perfect to receive it in, which was in that transition from leaving childhood to adulthood or whatever. Because I want to look up when that came out because it had to be like
2006.
Right? Yeah, it had to be like right when we were like in high school. Actually, I don't know how old you are, but
2006.
I think I'm older than you. Yeah, it's like 2006, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, and it's also like such... Oh, sorry, Daisy.
Oh, no. So I was just thinking I graduated in high school in 2013. So that was like, okay, cool. So we're like the same. So like that is perfect because that would have been like right on the cusp from our like middle to high school transition, right? Is when like we needed our story to become like time to grow old and go like the fucking creatures are sometimes bad and there's even worse humans. You know, and we were like ready for that. We were primed to receive this story and become.
Absolutely,
it's totally my favorite one. Yeah,
are we allowed to do spoilers at all?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, it's fine.
They would have had enough time to watch it, right?
Yeah,
I think this is a huge spoiler. But like, I think what resonated with me so much is that the main character dies at the end.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. Yeah. You kind of think that she's maybe gonna get away. You kind of think that it's gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And much like,
it's a fairy tale. Yeah.
Much like the Spanish Civil War? Is that when that takes
place?
Yep. Much like the Spanish Civil War, you might not get out okay.
Yeah. And the comment. I mean, that's another thing, right? Guillermo is also, Mexican. Mm-hmm. I think it also just pulls at my heartstrings a little bit more. His ability. I love horror in the cultural realm and talking about racism through that context and talking about socioeconomic status and really terrifying monsters of people that the world sometimes. And so I don't know, man. Those monsters in that movie are just. God, it is like I think it's one of my things if people don't know what folklore really is. I think this is a brilliant movie to show them because it actually, on face value, right, has so many folklorisms. Right, like
the folklore-esque is strong in this one. Yeah.
So S tier, gotta say.
I think I saw a video essay that said Guillermo. That Del Toro, hi, white guy, is the master of making people wince. And I think Pan's Labyrinth is the one that makes me
That's a
wince
good
the
wincer.
most.
Yeah, that is a good wincer.
It's the
I
one that
definitely go
makes me-
like, oh my god, the running from the creature to the
was gonna
chalkboard.
say,
Oh my god, the
when he has to
suspense. Maybe
sew his own
wincing and
mouth shut.
suspense.
You just
Oh yeah. Oh,
with
he
the
just
music and
Yeah.
the watch symbolization
and even the mandrake screaming,
Ah.
like the man, like it's all like, ugh, it's all wincy.
It's
Yeah.
heart-wrenching.
It's really-
It's
yeah.
visceral. His movies are so damn visceral,
What-
and it's great.
Yeah. And what is a wince but a cringe? Do you cringe at the monster, or do you be
No.
do the cringe? No.
I think a
Something
wince.
like that.
I think a wince is I think a cringe is a wince of shame, and a wince is a cringe.
Yeah,
of
I think
horror.
that's right. That's what it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I was like that. It's not quite the same, but yeah. The cringe
Which is
the
interesting.
wince of shame.
I love that. I
It's
love
true.
that
I mean, it's
definition.
Thank you.
True. I mean, that's what. Yeah.
Brilliant. Because I feel like we cringe at the humans in that movie.
Yes.
And we wince at the
Yeah,
monsters.
yeah, we don't
Very true.
cringe at the monsters. We wince at the
Damn,
monsters.
that was a
But
good.
we
That was a
also,
good assessment.
but we
You
also
said it.
wince. But we also wince at the bad people.
You're
Don't we
right.
wince? We wince at the guy when the guy's like sewing up his mouth, or
Ah.
but we also know him to be a monster
Yeah.
in that
Very
sense.
true.
You know, like the question. Yeah. Anyway, we're this is turning into a hi. Hey, do you want to watch? Hey, do you want to watch Pan's Labyrinth and do commentary on it with Dom and I for a Patreon video? Anyway,
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
actually, do you want to do that? That'd be really fun.
Yes.
That'd be a lot
Okay.
of fun. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay, great. Signed off.
All right. All right. We got some more movies left.
Yeah,
Yes,
we got to
yes,
run
sorry,
through this
sorry.
tier list. Next
Yeah,
up
yeah.
is
Okay.
next up is the Devil's Backbone.
Also a good one.
Also a great one. Also the Spanish Civil War.
I'm
not sure.
I don't know
Off the top of
either,
my head.
actually. Oh no.
I can look
Okay,
it up.
okay. Okay,
Also
we
kids.
said that.
Also kids.
Also kids. We said that more than one can be on one level, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
They have to be. But that's why we said
Oh,
you rank them
geez, man.
horizontally and vertically. So like the leftmost is higher.
I see. Devil's Backbone. I think I would put Devil's Backbone.
It
on
is
the
also
A-
Spanish Civil War. Sorry.
on the A before. No, you're fine. On the A before Pinocchio.
Before Pinocchio here, or here.
or there, right?
There.
Because that's
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's like above, like
Top of it, top
it's
of it.
higher ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top of it, higher ranked.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I would do.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Oh.
trying to like go fast now because I'm like that's.
Oh,
the
you're
only way
good.
I
I
can
know.
do
No, you're
this.
good.
Sometimes I know we could talk about all these.
We could do
Yeah.
this all
Sometimes
day.
it's like yeah. Sometimes you gotta go with gut feeling on some of them, or just say like I don't know anything
Yeah.
about it, but. yeah.
Well, like this next one, which I don't know, but is one of his early shorts, which is Geometria.
I've never seen Geometria, but I've heard and read about Geometria.
What about the vibes?
You put it in haven't seen, or you can rank it on vibes.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart to put it there. Even though there's nothing wrong with not seeing
It's safe.
something.
Yeah.
It's not D. It's not.
It's
D tier.
safe. It's not D. It's
Yeah.
just haven't seen.
Okay, we're gonna put it there just because of the pure. That's yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's fair. Fair.
High five. Okay.
Next is Pacific Rim.
I also think there's no way that that's not Dom's favorite.
That's my
And if
favorite.
it's not, okay, I was like, and if it's,
you know me
I was
so
like-
well. That's
I
my,
was like,
that
and
is
if
by
it's
far my
not-
favorite. I
I
wept
didn't know
watching
that.
this movie.
I was like, it's, I was like, if it's not Pacific Rim, my second guess would have been Hellboy.
But also I am Hellboy.
but- yeah,
God,
right. I know.
love
I was like,
Hellboy, man.
when his
Yeah.
when like the wyvern monster drags Gypsy Danger into space and his sword becomes an arm, or his arm becomes a sword and he cuts his head off, someone behind me audibly went, "Nice!"
that's awesome.
See, he just speaks through people. It's just so
It's so
much
good.
emotion. Oh no. Okay.
All right, but Pacific Rim.
Guys.
I know we've biased you already.
I've led the witness.
Sorry, yeah.
You really have.
This is
Okay.
your list, though. This isn't
No,
Dom's.
not my list.
I
It's not
know.
my list.
Dom's
I know,
list.
I
Dom's an
know.
S tier, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm
do-
making S plus
yeah.
for this movie. I'm making Cancel the Apocalypse tier.
Hell yeah.
That's fair. That is fair. Only for the sake of Miss Dom, I'm so sorry. I am gonna put it on B before Blade.
Okay.
Fair.
I'm sorry.
No, this
Oh,
is B is
shoot.
just
No,
becoming the
it's
Dom.
fine.
B is just becoming Dom tier.
Dom, we get it. You like robots.
Yes.
We like
Yes.
magic. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Like literally, that is
But
it
the
at
robots
face
aren't
value.
magic. You need to love someone on a deep level to pilot it. It has to be
That's
your
fair.
brother
You're
or
right.
someone who has seen the same trauma as you. That's not magic.
You're so right. You're so right. You're so right. Oh, and maybe it's just
Put
like
some
on
wings on it. God damn it.
really what you've seen most too. I think also.
Yeah,
Who needs a
Oh, damn.
jetpack?
we are canceling the apocalypse. All right, next up is
I'm sorry.
Hellboy. Another one I've seen a million times. Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy.
I love Hellboy. Oh,
It's a good one.
Hellboy's a folklorist. He just like beats people to death when he's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. Oh, geez, Louise. Okay. I really like Hellboy. I actually think Hellboy would be S tier for me after Pan.
This way.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I really do. Okay.
And next on the list, actually, you want to skip to Hellboy 2? Let's skip to Hellboy 2.
Yeah.
Let's skip to Hellboy
sure.
too. Yeah.
Sure. Hellboy 2 is great too. But I think I would put it on A after Pinocchio.
I think Hellboy 2
Fair.
like
Only-
looks better, but Hellboy 1 is like a better
S
story.
tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you would fall in love with those characters so
Yeah.
much.
I get it.
and,
Yeah.
I
I get
mean, they also have so many other different layers with
Abe
their
Sapien,
literature.
that's my
So,
homie. I love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
oh my
I love
god, who can't?
Hey, speaking of
Okay.
fish people, as Abe Sapien comes up, next up is
Yeah.
Shape of Water.
Probably the most. What's the word I'm looking for? Not isolating, but
Polarizing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. It is
Polarizing movie.
which kind of surprised me. I was like, do people just like not get past the ick factor? Do they just? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it
Maybe?
just that? Yeah.
I think it's also like
too
he's a
romantic.
victim of his own success, and this is like his awards darling movie, and I think people like hate on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. I mean, and I think there's also that really frustrating feeling of like, oh, but have you guys seen Pans? Have you guys seen?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong.
Did you guys
It's a
see
good
when
movie. I
Gypsy
like
Danger
it.
threw a kaiju through Shanghai?
Did you guys even see that?
I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw it, but
If you saw it, you wouldn't be saying crap
You'd be
about Shape of
there.
Water. You'd be saying crap about the fish man.
yeah. And we love Doug Jones. Doug
Yeah.
Jones forever. Doug Jones.
Oh my
always and
god.
Oh,
forever.
Doug Jones.
We just got a super cute comment in the chat. Yo, Starps, late to the party. Love the plushies in Camille's background. Tag yourself, Starps.
We're all tagging
Who are you?
ourselves.
We all
Yeah.
tagged ourselves.
Kenny
Are
Kenny
you?
Linden with Cyndaquil, which I appreciate.
Yeah. I
Oh,
do
thanks.
love Cyndaquil.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was my first ever starter when I ever played Pokemon.
Oh,
Aw.
nice. Oh, Joe
Yeah.
Toddler over here. Yeah.
Cute. Hell yeah. So maybe she'll say something. But
Okay.
anyway.
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
I actually, I did like it. I did like it. And I actually have no necessarily wrong things to say about it. I think, though, for reasons and just vibes, I think it goes on B. Yeah, I think it would be last on B for me.
Okay.
I think.
Nice. Okay.
And I know there's derivatives of Hellboy a little bit, and like, I don't know, but I'm just putting it on B.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I like it. Starp said BMO. Yeah, Starp.
Amazing.
I mean, I was like, oh, of course, yeah.
Very
duh.
much. Yeah.
Think
That,
about
no
it.
Period.
Yeah, I was like, oh, duh, yeah.
Right, everybody.
Next up, we got
Okay.
Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak. We love spooky.
Spooky one. I love this one. I love Tom Hiddleston.
Tom is insane. Tom. Okay.
You know, honestly, I'm gonna sound like such like a dumb, uncultured shill, but
No.
like, okay, I'm very glad that like the writers or the actors and like the writers got like good deals out of striking. You know what I mean? I was just
Sure.
bummed that like Tom Hiddleston couldn't do press for Loki because I love Tom Hiddleston interviews.
Oh my god.
He is something else.
I know he's the greatest
He's
interviewer
still a little
ever.
guy.
I love the one where he just starts speaking Russian.
I mean, multi-talented, fascinating, strange as hell.
Yes,
We
weird guy.
We love him. Weird guy. Only he could play Loki.
That's right. He auditioned for Thor.
That's right.
He
That's
auditioned for
right.
Thor, and they're like,
I did not
dye your
know
hair
that.
black
Oh my
and come
God.
back next week.
He
We have
did,
somebody in
Daisy.
mind.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, they were
Jesus.
like, I don't see it, but
They're like, I don't see it, but okay. And then
about
he,
this
then they
Loki?
saw it. They were like, oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
now he's
Absolutely.
with glorious purpose. But
I
Crimson
love it.
Peak.
yeah.
I think I would put Crimson Peak after Pinocchio on A.
Got it. Solid A tier. All right.
Nice.
Next up, TV series. I've never seen it, but Order Makata.
You know what? I haven't either.
Oh, well, there we go.
But it's like
I
Twilight
haven't.
Zone. It's like a horror anthology.
Yeah.
Right. Lots
Yeah.
of man. He loves that Twilight Zone stuff, and so do I.
Yeah.
Me too, buddy. Okay, so the haven't seen list is also tiered, right? In a way that's like
It's
you put
untiered.
that-
It's untiered. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun too.
Oh,
It's random. Yeah, that is just
Okay.
you haven't seen it, so you just put it in order.
Okay,
Whatever.
we'll put it in the haven't seen, but I like it.
Same thing.
I just
with
like it
Vibes-
already.
Better vibes than the other film not seen, but
I agree.
Also, yeah, there we go.
What about, have you seen his first Doña Lupe?
I haven't.
That's cool.
Don't.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
Vibes.
But I've read.
We
I've
didn't-
read.
I
It's
mean-
brilliant.
Yeah, it looks good.
Some great stuff. I just need to carve out some time and just.
It is extremely difficult to watch all of an, I don't know, auteur, for lack of better terms, like
Great term.
filmography.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just hard. The fact that you've seen as many as you have is more than most people, I think, in terms of the specific director.
And some of them were at different stages of my
Yeah,
life where I didn't
totally.
really understand what the hell I was
Yeah.
looking at. So
Right.
one day we'll make a
One day. Yeah.
we'll redo
Yeah,
every
we
single
do.
movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ready to close out with these three?
let's go.
Nightmare Alley.
And this is another polarizing one, I feel like.
Mhm.
Have you all seen Nightmare Alley by
I have not.
chance?
I haven't.
Nightmare Alley is interesting. I feel like it is one of the most in which I felt sick a little bit. I felt a little bit like, whoa, like this is a little sick. This is a little twisted. And for those of you who may not know, carnivals kind of freak me out. And I have a huge fear of the idea of carnivals, mostly because I have coulrophobia. I have a fear of clowns. And I will say, there's not technically a clown in this one, but kind of the ideas of what makes clowns so creepy is like littered throughout this entire film because Guillermo, he
almost
grew
like
up in that.
an uncanny silliness. But I'm also thinking of like the
Right.
culturally though, like I'm just thinking
Mhm.
about the role of carnivals, of festivals, not, you know,
Yes.
they're so like everyday and not. Like they're their own liminal spot. Anyway, I mean, you know, many folk.
100%.
You can tag I don't know, any festival folklorist ever who's written about
Yes,
this.
yes.
But there's like a weird like, I don't know, mundanity that is also not like,
Yes,
especially when
yes.
they're annual or something, or like pretty consistent. Yeah,
It's
I
hard.
get it. Yeah.
It's confusing, and I think My dad actually used to talk about this too, and I think Guillermo does in an interview when talking about Nightmare Alley, but when he was in Mexico, like carnivals were a place of safety and solitude for him, but also places that were the darkest he's ever seen. They're rough. You know what I mean? And people that and I have respect for carnivals, I do, but like people that have like good things going for them in life and life's great don't necessarily end up in a carnival. They're probably
not
there because
necessarily
life is
leading.
hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Life is complicated.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
they're
that's true.
seen as like a place, they don't have anywhere to fit in.
Mhm.
All that being said, though,
and that's that's the like interesting triviality barrier of the
mm,
carnival or whatever, of the occupation clown or whatever. There's like the idea that it's not skilled, but it's actually like highly skilled.
That's Guillermo
But
del
also-
Toro's next movie, The Occupation
Yeah.
Clown, and it's set during the Spanish Civil War.
The occupation clown.
the occupational payaso. That would be
Yeah,
the
it's like-
scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, I
Oh my
think
God.
I would crap my pants. Like, I don't think I would be
Oh
able
god,
to.
it's like anarchists
Never make
shooting
a-
clowns.
It's all a metaphor.
Yeah.
It's all a
Oh
metaphor.
my god! And take us back to 2016. Clowns
there
in the
is-
wood. The election is bad.
There is
Like,
something
like an all-
very uncanny
No.
and
Never go back,
carnivalesque about
please, only future.
fascism, which Del Toro brings out in this new film.
Oh God. Like, honestly though, like straight up, Guillermo, if you want to make a movie, just say,
Yeah.
let us know.
Just
Um,
listen. We love your
you're
like
listening.
anti-fascist monsters. Yep, you're
If
listening.
you're listening, we support and we'll play whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Sidetrack. Nightmare Alley. This is gonna be. I think people are gonna be angry. I'm gonna put it on C, please.
All right.
To it. I don't think we've ever gotten a YouTube comment on anyone's tier list that was mean. I'm not to say it couldn't happen, but like you're worrying about like these amorphous other people, and maybe you're creating a monster that's not there. Anyway,
Listen, thanks.
I
Thank you
promise
so
you,
much.
like it's people get it. It's your list. It's
Thank
not-
you for reading me for exactly who I am, Daisy. I appreciate it.
You have a monster podcast. There has to
I
be
know.
some psychic energy happening.
I know. You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, okay. I believe you.
And then last two, first is Kronos.
Starps agrees that this is your list, absolutely. So
I actually think I would put Kronos in front of Devil's Backbone, I think.
Ooh.
ooh, nice.
Damn.
Any
Or
reason?
actually, I misspoke after Devil's Backbone.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Any
Yeah.
any reason in particular? It's just good.
I think there are just a lot of, how do I put this? Basic elements of what I really like, not just in monsters, but in storytelling, in Kronos and in the lore.
Mm.
And a lot of people that I've seen write and direct and that I respect a lot hold Kronos pretty high.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I respect that. And I feel like that's really cool. So I put Kronos there.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And last is Mimic.
I've never seen Mimic.
All right.
Well, there we go. Vibes. Look at that. Pretty close to normal distribution.
I didn't have the heart to put anyone in D.
Aw,
that's
Sorry.
That's fair. That's totally fine. We've had other people do that too, where they're just like, no, the bottom two, they didn't even put anybody. in.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you're not the only one who's ever done that. Yeah. Some people are like, right to D. Actually, Lamont, he coined this term. He is like, who was it? It was the Temptations tier list, and I don't remember the person, but he was like, I'm glad you...
Elbridge Bryant.
Elbridge Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm glad you included him so I can put him right to D. So, some people can like...
Oh my god, I'm dead. Oh
It was
my.
really good. So now we
That
say...
is-
So now whenever someone's like, yeah, let's go into D, we're like, right to D moment, straight to D.
That's such a Lamont thing. That's so funny.
It was
like-
really funny.
I can't wait for the time where you all do another tier list and somebody just puts everything at D. They're just
That
like,
would
yep,
be funny. I mean, I guess the goal is to have it be debatable enough that there's some movement if you want, like, because
yeah,
it's fun when like people have a really strong opinion in any direction, like,
you're right.
but it would be really funny if they were like, all of these are B. I was just like,
I don't believe in
I
S
don't
tier.
like any of these, and I don't love any of these.
Period.
They're all just regular.
I love it.
That'd be funny.
I love
Anyway,
it.
oh my gosh, Dom, do you have an
That
idea
was
to wrap
great.
this up? Do we have an idea to? We sometimes we like to try to do a full circle moment. Let's see.
Folklorist.
Chat, there you have it. The official
Okay.
Camille Acosta, Guillermo del Toro movie tier list on a scale from
Trying to think.
from Pan's Labyrinth to Nightmare Alley.
Yeah,
How
at least for today.
hard are you? How hard are you wincing?
That's pretty good. I was gonna say maybe like
Maybe what? Did we lose
Daisy.
them?
Daisy.
Daisy, we've lost Daisy like so many shoes in Pan's Labyrinth.
Don't say that.
I'm gonna put you back on the screen and wait for Daisy to come back.
Daisy.
Oh
no.
man, yeah, queer folklorist. I bet you're right. I bet Sniff pulled out the internet again. All right,
That's
while
what it
Daisy
was.
wrestles control from their mischievous kitten. Oh my God, it was Sniff. Okay, excellent. All right, Camille. While Daisy returns to us, people want to see, hear, purchase more from you. Where can they go?
Good question. Well, if you're interested in the Kentucky Folklife program, you can totally find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's typically KY Folklife. But yeah, you can find us there. We also have a website. You can also find us
Typically
and
KY.
things that typically KY. You know, on WKU's Folk Studies website, you'll see traces of us there too.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then if you're into monsters and other fun shindigs like that, you can find our podcast, Floaties for Krakens, pretty much on everything. We haven't started posting in anywhere but Instagram right now. We're fairly new. So we're really active on Instagram. We're hoping to change that soon because let's just say, and I think this is the first time I'm admitting it in a public place, but season 2 is going to be videoed, not just audio. So
Ooh.
you'll be seeing us on YouTube very soon as well.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, so cool. Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
Okay.
Hi, Daisy.
I was trying to say on a scale of Pan's Labyrinth to Nightmare Alley, how many wings does your shadow self have? I tried anyway. It's not that great, but
That's deep, I think.
okay. Too deep. It went too deep. It's dream brain time. It was a sniff. I don't know what's up, but
Ah, you're back.
Yes, hi.
you're gonna have videos. It's so cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Just so
Podcasts,
y'all know.
so many places. Very cool.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
that's where you can find us, kids.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Well, chat, now that Camille is done with her interview, you only got one job to do to make sure you tell Camille how much you appreciate her, and that is ladders in the chat.
Ladders.
Absolutely. Camille, thank you so much for being a great guest, for putting so much
Yeah.
work into the tier list.
Yeah,
and,
truly.
For
super fun.
for winning the Camille Acosta Smash Invitational.
Oh,
Yeah, truly.
winning. That's a very nice
You went
way of
3-0.
putting it.
You went 3-0 through pools.
Yeah, you went 3-0.
You'd
Yeah.
be number 1 seed into bracket.
Into Kirby bracket, maybe.
Kirby
And then
bracket.
Kirby bracket. Oh my gosh.
You bring.
Thank you guys.
Oh,
You bring
yeah.
that Kirby
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
No, like you all don't realize, like it's so iconic talking to you both, and I'm sure you hear this all the time, and if you don't, you should. What you all are doing is insanely cool and transformative, and so fucking beautiful. And you should be very proud of yourselves for the path you've paved. For me, I'm so
Aw.
thankful that you've created this, and for so many other people. You've made folklore not only like so cool, but achievable for so many people,
Aw.
and I really appreciate you both. It's been a joy.
Oh, thank you,
Aw,
Camille. That
thanks.
was the nicest thing anyone's ever said about us, especially so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, can we clip that? Like,
Yeah, clip
can I
my
clip
shit.
that? Okay, can I clip that? Okay.
That meant a lot.
That's so
Thank you.
cool. Yeah, those
You all
were.
mean a lot to a lot of people, so
Aw.
thank you.
I hope so. Yeah.
Mhm.